Hey, thank you for joining me again today. It's great to be with you. Here we are on day 13 of our devotional journey together on these 21 days of prayer and fasting. And this has just been great. I'm glad you're with us. If you're just finding this or just jumped in, you need to know that we started on day 1. So you can go back and day 1 through 12. Now we're doing 13. And after this, we'll go all the way through the 21 days. There's also written devotionals that this is kind of a supplement to. It's not a word for word, but I kind of share through this. So if you'd like to get your hands on those, you can contact us at myflc.org and we can get that for you. But we have been taking the Lord's Prayer as a pattern and reading through that, working through that, praying that every day. So let's start again today, as we have each day of this process, and pray the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Amen. Now, we have worked through most of the Lord's Prayer, and now we're on this last couple sentences that it says, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. What Jesus is referring to is the spiritual battle that we're in. I know sometimes when you hear spiritual warfare, some of you get excited. Some of you, you're not comfortable with that, thinking about we are fighting demons and fighting the devil. But there is a spiritual realm, just as real as what you see today on this video or the chair you're sitting in. There's a spiritual realm and there's a spiritual battle. Ever since Satan rebelled from God and was cast to earth with 1/3 of the angels because of his pride and his rebellion, he has been the ruler of this world. In other words, this is his turf. We live on his turf. So don't be surprised when you get fought by things, and don't be surprised when there's opposition and you go, what is going on? There's a spiritual battle. Jesus warned us. Jesus was tempted when he was on the earth. Now, he didn't give into that temptation, and being tempted is not a sin. It's just only when we give into it. So we're going to talk about this in the next several weeks. We're going to talk about how the Apostle Paul in Ephesians chapter 6 tells us we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against dark forces and evil realms. He's saying there's a spiritual warfare, but God has not left us, so we can take up the whole armor of God, literally pieces of armor that God gives us to protect us and help us to stand and hold our ground. And so we're going to be going over those each piece, and I think you're going to find it beneficial. And I know as I pray them on every day when I pray this prayer, it's helpful. But spiritual warfare is a real thing. And we have got to recognize that, and Jesus has not left us vulnerable. You know, sometimes there'll be stuff coming at you, and you just can't figure out what's going on. You feel off. That happened to me yesterday. I had to get up extra early and be out of the house early, and so my morning routine felt a little bit rushed, and as I went through the day, I just felt off. Something didn't feel right, and I couldn't figure it out. I was having a hard time using my readers, and it's like, man, what is going on? Until I came home that evening, and I thought, I'm going to go put my glasses on. I wear contacts. And so I went in there and found out I'd never put my contacts on that morning, and I left the house and for some reason was oblivious to it, but I felt off. You know, sometimes in life it's like that. It's like, what is going on? It seems like something's off. Of course, the enemy is going to fight you. His job is to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, sometimes that will be overt, and you go, man, this looks like the devil. Other times it's subtle, like forgetting you put your contacts on. But we are going to pray through. We're not vulnerable. We can say we can stand against this. And so today, as we launch into the last part of this prayer, I want you to know the battle is real. The devil is real. But here's what Jesus said. Greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. He told us, in this world you will have trouble, but don't despair. Jesus has overcome the world. So we're going to arm up. We're going to be ready for battle. And ultimately, you need to know the battle is the Lord's, but through these pieces of armor, we can be more covered, and we don't have to be vulnerable to every time the devil wants to mess with our life, mess with our family. And I hope that makes you mad, because it makes me mad. So here we go. as we end day 13, we're recognizing the spiritual battle, and we're going to launch into placing on the pieces of armor that God has given us. Amen. Okay, day 13 is done.